They know their friends. They set bedtimes for them. They want to be involved with them. They are the friends of their children. There is proper communication, and the children trust the parents. So there is this feedback. So parents, to a large extent, they know what their children are about. They know their friends. They know the homes they visit, and that's what you call the authoritative. That is, they set godly limits. And that is the parenting type that is recommended for godly homes. Now, which other sources or which other places do we have issues with about recruiting our children into substance abuse? Schools, even primary schools. These days we found out that children as young as 10, 11 are exposed to substance abuse before they even enter into the secondary school. But more importantly, we've observed that the secondary schools, especially the boarding schools, have become recruitment grounds for children and lead them into substance abuse. Now, you are aware that, the secondary school is a mixed population. Children come from all kinds of home backgrounds, all kinds. Some of these children are already on drugs. So they come to this school and they recruit innocent children, sometimes from Christian homes. And parents are unaware of this. So before you send your children to boarding school, it is proper to do some investigation. You try to find out about the school, try to ask questions, try to, inquire. Some schools are notorious or have notoriety for being places where substance abuse, cannabis, alcohol, etc. Now, some communities are also very notorious for substance abuse. I don't want to mention any community to avoid labeling or stigmatizing. Suffice to say that we have some communities in our environment that are drug infested. They sell drugs virtually on the streets. They don't even hide it. So availability of drugs make it a lot easier for children to be recruited. So parents have to be watchful about the movement of their children in such communities, because it's a real danger. Now, in schools, we also have cultism, especially in the universities. But even these days, we have cultism in the secondary schools. And drug abuse is part of the culture of cults. And children are recruited, some are bullied into becoming members of these cults. Of course, they hide these things from their parents. But if the parents, if the child is very close to the parent, or the parents have a very good relationship with their children, the child will let the parents know. Poor communication, or there's distrust, or there's disharmony between parents and their children. Before you know, the child is neck deep into this problem. Now, another problem we have on our hand these days is the social media. Social media. I'm referring to Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, etc. This social media, they advertise substances and even alcohol. And almost everybody carries a mobile phone, smartphone. But these days we have children as young as 6, 7, 8. parents giving them mobile phones. I'm talking about phones that can access the internet. And they have free access to these things. And parents are unaware. The children are being privately recruited into this dangerous habit without the parents having no clue about it, through social media. Now, the social media control is a very, very difficult one. So, but a parent who is aware, with proper communication, with education, awareness, talking to the child. So if the child has enough information, has understanding, the child can take a stand, and not allow himself or herself to be, to be part of this dangerous behavior. Now, we want to talk about how does a parent recognize that the child has drug problem or the child is in drugs, because these behaviors, they are hidden. The children hide these behaviors because they are clandestine. So they do these behaviors in secrecy. They hide. So, but once a person is exposed to substance abuse, alcohol use, they develop certain behavioral changes. What are these behaviors to look for in our children? One, they start lying. The child who was not lying before picks up lying. They become socially withdrawn. They no longer want to freely interact with their parents or their siblings, They want to be on their own most of the time, and they spend time outside the home. They don't tell you where they're going to, they just disappear. They also start stealing. Not only do they steal money, they sometimes steal items to go and sell to procure these drugs. So you find, your items start missing in the home. And if you ask them, they lie. They tell you they don't know about it. That child, most likely, is exposed to drugs. The other behavior that might be a signal is that they become aggressive and disrespectful. The child who used to be very respectful, who doesn't even maintain eye contact with the parents, now develops aggressive tendencies. Argumentative. The mother said 1, she will say 2. The father said 2, she will say 10. They become very argumentative, knowledgeable, and disobedient. Once you begin to see these trends in the child, you have to look very closely. It's likely he's exposed to drugs, because what these drugs do, they remove inhibition. They remove inhibition. Like alcohol, if you know what I mean, for those who get exposed to alcohol, they lose caution, they talk anyhow, they're confrontational, and so on and so forth. The same thing with drugs, cannabis, and so on and so forth. Sometimes the exposure to the drugs gave them